How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What up? Ramiro's a little frozen. Can't hear him.
You can't hear me now?
Now I can.
All right, what's going on, man? Hey,
New
I got a new
setup.
rig.
Yeah.
I got a new rig. The Dell was going out, so your boy stepped over to the dark side, got himself a Mac. I'm trying to figure it out. It's a little different.
It's a little different, but it's all good. We're here.
It's
Shout out
definitely
Toasty.
different. Shout out Toasty. Hey, welcome everybody to Story of the Fight. My name is Ramiro. That's my boy Will. In the background, we got Rich the Casual, our producer. Fantastic producer, by the way.
It's nice. It's nice when we have like the intro music like fading away while we're already like going, instead of just like a bam. You could tell
The things
you
Rich
could tell
can
when
do.
Rich is gone. You could tell
The
when Rich is
things
gone.
Rich can do. It's so funny. But hey, this is where we talk all things mixed martial arts, especially when you have a weekend like this weekend where you had one fight night 12. You had the much anticipated UFC fight night of Holm versus Bueno Silva.
Yeah.
And
Blockbuster,
if this is your first time, dude, breaking records. If this is your first time tuning in, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way. We're trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. We're at 2,600 right now, I believe. So tell your moms, tell your sisters, tell your aunties, tell everybody. But yeah, hey, you want to get into it, dude? We got a lot to cover. I think there's 11 fights we're going to cover today.
Yeah, so if you're here with us live, we're going to cover the UFC event first, a few fights there, and then we're going to switch over to One Fight Night 12. If you're not with us live, there's timestamps down below, so you can jump to whatever you want to hear.
Absolutely. We're going to get started with UFC, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get started with UFC Fight Night. Holm versus Mayra Bueno Silva.
Ooh.
Dude, your boy busted out the Portuguese accent. Hey, shout out Toasty, by the way. Always repping Portugal.
Always.
Yeah, dude. But yes, Mayra Bueno Silva versus Holm. Now, again, dude, not too many people hype on this fight. I know I was being facetious earlier saying like, oh, much anticipated. Look, there's no anticipation for this fight.
Zero.
Okay? Zero anticipation for this fight. And, if we don't reach 3,000 subscribers, I am blaming this UFC fight night because there's not too many people searching for it. So let's be real. That being said, they did fight.
They did.
They did fight.
And Holly did her traditional, it's like we're either going to see one of two things from Holly. It's either going to be her skirting around the outside, just pitter patter, outpoint you, or it's going to be the blitz in with a flurry that nothing really lands and clinch you up against the fence and try to just kind of outwork you there on the fence. It's one of those two things.
And it was the latter, right?
Yeah, it was the latter. And my mom texted me. She was like, "Who do you think's got this?" And I was like,
"Hey, shout out Colleen."
Yeah, shout out mom. She was like, "Who do you think's gonna win?" And I was like, "Well, it's either gonna be what I just said, basically, or Bueno Silva's gonna have to be able to like cut her off, and if she can, then she probably subs or TKOs her, and that's what we got. I mean, Holly's 40, dude. She's been doing it forever.
Here's a picture. By the way, if you're only listening through Spotify, Breaker Podcast, Radio Public, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Anchor FM, you are better off joining us on YouTube because our producer puts the pictures up. And right here, you see a picture exactly of what you were talking about, Will. Holm. Everybody always talks about her footwork. And look, she has good footwork.
Yeah.
But when you go through and use that footwork and do the exact same thing over and over and over again, people pick up on that pattern. Very much like a Dominic Cruz. Everybody's like, oh my God, Dominic Cruz footwork, but there's so much film on it already.
Exactly.
Where it hasn't changed, where people can get the timing down. They see the pattern, easier to predict. And so after, like you said, the first minute where Mayra Bueno Silva is hanging back, and then all of a sudden Holm goes, yeah. And she blitzes in and then backs up. She's like, oh, okay, hey, plan B.
That's what we're getting. We're getting that
plan
Holly.
B. That's what we're getting. Exactly.
Yeah.
She clinches her up against the fence. And look, man, Holly Holm is strong, bro.
Yeah, very strong.
She does a very good job. When she clinches people and puts them up against the fence, it's very hard to break those grips, right? We saw Mayra Bueno Silva having a hard time with that as well. Hey, shout out, Colleen. We were just talking about it. All good stuff. And so it's very easy. And Mayra Bueno Silva at that point starts just stalking Holly Holm. After the blitz, she stalks her down. Holly Holm tries to clinch. She tries to blitz. She avoids it. Stalks her down. And she was very particular about when she went. But when she'd go, man, she would land a big right. She'd land a big left. You know?
It was one of those, the first round was one of those, like, what do you score, right? Volume versus power. It was one of those, like, kind of classic rounds, you know?
Give me power.
And honestly, you know what? Don't care. I don't care who won that first round. You know what I mean? Especially since the fight, what happened later in the fight, like, it just doesn't matter. I don't even want to have the discussion on it. If it was maybe a more exciting fight, I would, but not this one. But round 2, Holly blitzes again, clinches her against the fence. Bueno Silva did a great job of just slipping. She kind of got a little bit of distance, you know, a little bit of breathing room, slipped the arm in, got that choke. Holly's kicks are very fun to watch.
No, and that was one of the notes I put down.
I'll give her that
kick. Go to the body. Come up top. Because look, she landed that kick.
Yeah.
Right. If it was the shin, it might be a different story.
Yeah, and not on the forehead, right?
Slapped her on the forehead.
Spot. Yeah.
Slapped her on the forehead with that foot. But that just showed, like, hey, look at Bueno Silva's left arm. She was ready to kind of try to use that to shield the body a little bit. Yeah. And it didn't work because it went to the forehead. But it's there. Use it. Use it more. So frustrating.
It is. But let's be real, man. How old is she now?
50.
She's 41. It's tough, man. It's a young person's game, you know? But yeah, she gets the choke in. Holly has to top before there has to tap while they're standing, right? You could tell it was tight. The way she tapped, it was like, oh man. And dude, Bueno Silva is a finisher, dude. She really is. This is the best outcome for this division. You know, if Holly won this, they're talking about maybe Ronda Rousey coming back. They probably would have just done Holly versus Ronda again for the title. And it's like, God. But instead, we can kind of move on. You know, we can move on from this. Bueno Silva gets the finish. Holly, I'm not sure what's next. Hopefully not another main event. No disrespect. It's just not. We're not there anymore. This was what the division needed, was for Bueno Silva to get the finish here.
And Bueno Silva, she has finished 3 fights in a row. And look,
she's not bad,
it's
man.
a good thing for the division. Yeah, it's not bad. More finishes than I've got. You know what I mean? But it's against Stephanie Egger, Lena Landsberg, and now a 50-year-old Holly Holm.
3 in a row, man. And how cool, though. How cool to do an arm submission, a leg submission, and now a choke back to back to back. That's pretty sick.
Well-rounded.
That's pretty cool.
Well-rounded. That is. So what does she do now? Who does she go up against?
She probably fights for the belt.
You think so?
Probably. It's vacant. You got to do something.
Yeah, and this was at 135, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you got Raquel Pennington, Juliana Pena.
Pena versus Pennington is probably what they'll do, but you know, Bueno Silva was 10. It's just like, why? She beat number 3. She was 10 and fought number 3. She subbed her in the second round. It's just, come on, let's do it. I would rather see Raquel Pennington versus Bueno Silva than Juliana Pena in the mix at all.
Tosi says Juliana Pena versus Raquel Pennington's already in the works.
Yeah, and obviously it is, but I forgot.
They need to hurry up because I think I predicted Juliana Pena with the belt at the end of the year, so they need to hurry up. We can't wait till next year, okay? Let's make it happen. All right. Do you have anything else on that
Let's
exciting
move on to
main event?
The people's main event.
All right. We had Jack Della Maddalena versus Bassil Hafez. JDM.
Ooh, dog.
I'm just going to go JDM. Jack Della Maddalena, again, one of the best names in all of mixed martial arts. Just rolls off the tongue, you know? But dude, Hafez, was this his first fight? I believe it was his
Short notice
debut.
debut. Short notice debut. 5
Coming
days
in looking
notice.
ripped. Your boy was
Yeah.
ready, waiting in
Ready
the
to go.
shadows to be called
Yeah.
upon, dude. And he just came out.
Dude,
And
and Jack Della was supposed to fight last weekend, made weight, fight falls through. He's like, I want to fight on the next card. Everyone's like, what are you doing? You don't want to cut weight twice? What are you doing?
he
Makes
said,
weight.
watch me. He said,
Yeah.
watch me.
Yeah. Maybe you could argue it's a little bit of it led to a little bit of how he fought. You know, it had an influence on him, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But you know what, dude?
Dude, but also
Still-
Hafez.
Yeah.
That
Game.
is a gamer. Holy
game.
shit.
Every time, this is what I loved about it. Every time he had Hafez against the fence,
Yeah.
right? Instead of moving out laterally, he was like, bite down, swing back, and both of them were landing big shots,
Yeah.
right? They were cracking each other. And then it's like each of them would crack each other once or twice, and they'd be like, all right, let's both reset.
Yeah.
They
Dude,
go at it again. I'm like, oh my God.
you could see multiple times throughout this fight when they'd both land on each other, and there's like that half second of like, where am I? Okay, we're back. Like, just both
shake off the
cracking
cobwebs
each
real
other.
quick.
Yeah, Jack Della did a much better job though of not just headhunting, right?
Oh yeah.
Because he's so good when you're up against the cage, where he'll just sit there, he'll just shoulder feint real quick, draw just a reaction out of you, and then it's massive left hook to the body, massive left hook up top, just ripping up and down. And that's so much fun to watch. And Hafez has a fucking chin on him because
He really does.
he ate shots that Jack Della, it's not like he doesn't hit hard. That dude puts people
cracks.
out. He cracks. I mean, he hit Randy Brown, and Randy Brown was looking like a giraffe that just got born, you know? Like, meanwhile, Hafez is just eating it and clearly exhausted from all the body shots, and probably because he's on 5 days notice. But how great was it seeing, I mean, look at that punch.
Yeah, and I
Look at
think
his
that was
body.
the difference, Will. I think that was the difference in this fight was the work to the body, because even in the third
Mhm.
round, you see all those deposits that he made the first round over and
Yeah.
over and over again start paying dividends right in that third round. So
Mhm.
that for me, that was the difference maker.
Yeah, 100%. Also, the corner work of Jack Della finally telling him stop going for the guillotine on these takedowns. Like,
Yeah, and he finally listened in the third round, right?
yeah.
When you think though about the 2 times of cutting weight, you know, that might work
Yeah.
for people like Andrew Tosti. That guy's a maniac, right?
Yeah,
Cutting weight
yeah.
all the time. He's fighting 20 times a year. But
Shout out, he's got a fight coming up, big one, A1 combat.
dude, I'm telling you, man, he's just fighting all the time, nonstop.
Yeah,
You know, but with JDM on the takedown attempts from Hafez, and I'm not saying that they weren't good takedown attempts. You know,
a little worrisome though, huh?
he would push all the way through, but the sprawling from JDM didn't look too good, because we've seen him with some takedown defense in the past.
Yeah.
But this really looked like he just didn't have the strength that he usually does to avoid that takedown, and I think that's where it probably impacted a little bit.
Yeah, it could be. Shout out Austin joining in. Austin Judd McCarthy says, hey, tuning in from NH, was that New Hampshire, USA. The one event this weekend was so good. Honestly, every prime card they've had has slapped. Agree 100%. Once we get through a couple of these UFC fights, we'll jump on there. We'll start talking
maybe
about
Northampton's coming in from the
Northampton's. Okay.
I don't know. I don't even know that's really a place. I don't know. But
and shout out Blunderbub too. Blunderbub's in that
Blunderbub.
one championship Discord.
And we're going to be covering the one fight night card as well later on, Austin. So definitely stick around for that. But hey, props to Jack Della. Did you have it scored for Jack Della Magdalena by the end of the fight?
Yeah, I thought it was insane that the commentary team was like, well, I don't know. And it's like, what are we doing? Second round was a clear Jack Della. I had Hafez winning the first round, Jack Della winning the second round, and then a 10-8 round for the third round for Jack Della.
I think where it came was that first round, because Hafez had some good top control. But we go back to, what did he do?
Well, and that's the first round, right? The second round was the one where Jack Della was like smacking people. You know, he's laying that left hook. He's digging to the body, digging up top, but then he would get taken down. But Hafez really couldn't do much on the ground after. And DC, I love DC. I know he's local, all this stuff. Gilroy, shout out. But he's like, he loves control so much because when he was fighting, it was such a big deal. And he just kept hammering home how much, like, yeah, I mean, Jack Della landed the bigger shots in the whole first 3 minutes of the round, but Hafez does have a minute of control on top where he didn't do anything. And it's like, DC, come on. How many times do we have to go through this? Like, remember, it got so bad at one point where they had to sit the commentary team down and go through the score. They had to teach them again. They went through a class on the scoring because they didn't know what they were talking about. And now we're back.
They would even talk about it. They're like, well, we just went through a class, so you know. But
yeah,
I mean, it's like CTE. You know what I mean?
Yeah, CT. That's true.
They're gonna have to
Tosi says it's crazy how DC and Dom suddenly forget how scoring works. Yeah, exactly. Last week they were like, "What even is a significant strike?" And they had to like be explained what. There's an actual definition of a significant strike. So it's like, if you don't know and you're on commentary, then maybe just don't talk about scoring. You know?
Yeah. And again, it's nice having ex-fighters on there because when they're in the middle of the fight, I think they do such a good job of explaining why certain things are happening, especially like, let's say our producer, Rich the Casual, hops on and as he's listening, he'll understand some of the basics that way, right?
Yeah. That's true.
But CT.
It's
also a real thing.
And like Tosi says, there's bias. DC's favors wrestling, and that's fine. But let's not. There's a bunch of people online now saying that Hafez got robbed, and it's like,
There was a funny part though where he's like, I forget what fight it was, and DC goes, "Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. You could tell he's hurt." And and Dom says, "Well, I can't tell." It was just so fun. So funny, man.
Yeah, I actually like Dom most night.
Is growing on me.
He did a good job. The Chelsea Chandler fight when she ran. We're not going to cover the fight, but when she sprinted across the cage, and then he was like, "Man, if there was a fence, if the door was open, she'd be out of there." And DC was cracking up, dude.
Oh man, that's so funny. All right, that's all I got on that fight. Props to Jack Della Maddalena.
Props to Jack Della. He gets the job done. I'd like to see if, like Tosi says, if they book that Brady fight, I'm more interested in that fight now than I was before, just because Brady does have good grappling, so be interesting.
Yes. All right, let's go on to the next one. We're gonna go Francisco Prado versus Ottman Azaitar.
Prado, I'm a fan. You know,
super impressive, dude.
Super impressive. Like Drew Dober's alter ego or something. You know,
South American Drew Dober.
Exactly, yeah. South of the border, Drew Dober. But, man, he is fun to watch. His kick game is very interesting because you see him immediately start landing that outside leg kick, and then the first leg kick that Azaitar threw, he checked it hard, split open Azaitar's shin.
Sounded nasty, too.
And then immediately goes back with his own, and he's like, I can kick you, but you cannot kick me. And I loved it. It was such a cool, like, first 30 seconds, that's a statement to make. I'm going to chew up your leg, and you better not even try to chew up mine. I thought that was so sick.
After that, after he checked that kick, did you notice, too, how Azaitar started switching stances more often?
Yeah.
And then when his right leg, which was the one that got checked, was back, and he was trying to push off of it to throw the right, he seemed off balance a little bit. He seemed like he didn't want to put too much pressure on that leg.
He was, like, dragging it a little bit.
Yeah. So I think it was pretty bad, right? And then the commentary team did such a good job. Oh, look at compliments for the commentary team.
Just shit on them.
Yeah, but they did such a good job of saying like, hey, it really looks like he's trying to set up that spinning elbow.
Well, it's okay. Hold on. I'm not gonna give them credit for that. I'm not gonna give them credit because
why?
Prado throws the spinning back elbow. And then immediately after, DC's like, I think he's trying to set up a spin. And it's like, no, he just spun. And then he did it again. And they're like, see, we called it. And it's like, you called it after he already did it.
But they're describing it as he's doing it. They're describing it, too, as he's doing it. Like the second time, at least. Where they're like, there it is again. There it is again. Like, they're like, you see him leaning forward. And I was like, yeah, that is pretty obvious. Because, like, he'd put his arm down and, like, spin just, like, a little bit and be like, too far.
Well,
okay. And then
you know why? It was the same entry as his takedowns. He was shooting takedowns, and the way he was leaning before the shot was the same lean before the spin. So I think Azaitar was kind of like, I mean, even on this one, when he leaned in to throw it, Azaitar was already that's why they were so close, and it was almost like an awkward clash, is because he was shooting in. Another thing that was funny with the commentary team was halfway through the round, Dom Cruz is like, man, Prado is so much fun to watch. You just know he's going to be super exciting. He's just throwing leather, doesn't shoot for takedowns, and he had already shot for 3 takedowns up at that point. And
awesome.
they're only like 2 minutes into the round.
But
it was a fun fight. It was a very fun fight. And he
then
lands that spinning elbow, and Azaitar
right on the temple.
Dude, and it split him open. He's immediately gushing blood. One of those fights where the stoppage is both early and late. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because
it does.
He drops him with the elbow, right? And then he ends up on top, and he's smashing him. And Azaitar's got the mummy guard. His eyes are like looking back that way. And
my notes say Azaitar went straight Brendan Schaub on on the ground on his back, because he was like kind of like just reaching for the air, and his eyes were looking out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And Prado was just like, "You're not stopping it? Okay."
And then
keeps on landing more hammers from Argentina.
Yeah, and when they did stop it is when Azaitar kicked him off and like almost seemed like he was maybe back in it.
Well, yeah, because Prado probably woke him up with one of those shots,
Yeah.
So, in my book, I think it was a little late.
Yeah, I feel like they should have stopped it before, especially with hindsight, knowing that they did stop it right then. Probably could have stopped it while he was trying to find his corner through the fence. But fun fight. Prado's very fun to watch. And credit to Azaitar, he made a good read because Prado was leaning forward like that. The uppercut was there, and yeah, like a minute in, he started landing that uppercut to the body, end of the head, and that was a really good read from Azaitar. It was a fun fight. I believe Chris Taioni was the ref on this one. Toasty.
Was he? I don't see it anywhere. Maybe.
Yeah, he was.
Might have been. Okay, perfect.
But that's all.
All right.
For that fight.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. We had Junyoung Park versus Albert Duraev.
Iron Turtle. It's the boy.
Dude, I love watching this guy fight.
He's so much fun. And what a great nickname. I love when fighters fight like their nicknames, because in this fight, and it's perfect matchup for Park, because Duraev just throws from the hip, man. He throws super hard. But one of his best weapons when he's orthodox is that left hook, and he'll swing it wide to the body, swing it wide up top. So if you're the Iron Turtle, you just fight behind your shoulder the whole time. And DC called this out too. He did a good job in this fight because Park was he wasn't like a good example of fighting behind your shoulder is Emmett versus Topuria. Where same thing, Emmett throws that wild punch, right? Anybody who throws those big looping punches, you want to fight behind your lead shoulder because you can roll with it and it'll glance off your shoulder before it hits you, and you can really eat it. Because there were some big shots that looked like Duraev was cracking Park, but really he was just turning in with it and fighting behind his lead shoulder. And sometimes he'd even get hit like down here because he was rolling so well with it. Big fan of Park. I love when he fights guys like this. So much fun.
Yeah, man. Jab was working early. Duraev did have some nice lead hooks in the beginning.
Yeah.
You kind of see one right over here that Rich just put up. Perfect timing, actually.
Well, you can't fight behind your shoulder when it's coming on that side, right?
Yeah, exactly. But in the second round, I was a little concerned because to end the first, Park gets him in a guillotine, and you see it on his face how much he's squeezing
for the
longest time. And I thought, man, he might have just gassed his arms. But look, there again, Rich, perfect timing, man. You just see him squeezing with everything he's got, right? And I thought it was pretty. Yeah, I thought it was pretty tight until they showed the camera of Duraev, and he looks up at the ref and he just gives a thumbs up, and I'm like, okay, so maybe it just looks tighter because Park is squeezing with all his might, and you see his face. But then in the second round, man, Park starts landing some of those big shots, man.
Yeah, and Austin says this fight was great. Best Iron Turtles looked so far, in my opinion, and I agree. He looked so good in this, especially like you said, that first round he really established the jab, and then in the second he finally started following up with the 2 behind the jab, because you get used to just he's just throwing the jab, bam, jab, bam, and then but you're good after the jab, and then he starts following up with the 2, and then I mean it's perfect. It just the fundamentals, shoulder roll, jab. And then as you establish the jab, now you start following up with the 2. It was just a perfect game plan from Park.
Toasty saying, Rich, casual fan, but an expert producer. I would have to agree.
Yeah.
HOB Comer, what up, HOB Comer? It's been a minute, man. He says, what is up? Who is your favorite Ninja Turtle? Leonardo, dude.
You gotta go Leonardo.
No, you know what? No, I'll back up and I'll go Michelangelo, actually.
Okay.
Was Michelangelo orange?
Wow. We're all different. I'm colorblind, man. I have no idea.
Shit, that's right. All the Ninja Turtles for you are just exactly the same? You just tell them apart by their weapons or what?
Rich says Nardo is a nerd. Why do you think I like him? Let's go. Toshi goes Donut. Everyone's giving it different answers.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go Master Splinter, dude. He's not a Ninja Turtle himself, but he held it down. He held it down.
He did hold it down.
Ninja Shredder, fantastic.
Yeah.
V-Box Rocksteady. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
What a great cartoon.
I know, so good.
And this is where we go off the rails so easily with one question.
Yeah. Also, Park's dance.
One question is all it takes. Oh, it's so funny. All right. That's all I got, I think, on Park. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, killer dance moves at the end, but very happy.
Oh, that's right. How can I forget the celebration at the end? Has to be one of my favorite celebrations I've seen in a long time. The slow dance moves, dude, as he's going around, his facial. I mean, look at his facial expressions on this picture, dude. I wish we didn't even talk about the finishing
sequence either. He had him up against the fence. Hits him with the right hand, left hook as he's coming back up. As he's looking back up, hits him with that left hook.
There's a left hook right there.
Folds him. Yeah, just folds him.
There's a left hook right there. It was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah. All right. Ready to move on?
Let's do it.
I think this is where we start skipping a few fights. We have Nazim Sadykhov versus Terrance McKinney.
Yeah, Sadykhov coming off the win over the boy Evan Elder. Gets Terrance McKinney. This is a great fight. Just like matchup wise, I was like, this is one of the fights that most people were looking forward to on this card. They're like one of the few that they're like, at least we have that. But good first round from Terrance McKinney. You know, really good first round. He cracked him early. Sadykhov threw a low kick. He timed it perfectly. And, there it is. Wow, look at that. Damn, Rich is fucking on it today, huh?
He's on it today, man.
But that's it. And they even talked about it, how Terrance McKinney was like, he's not going to see the left hand. I hide it really well. And immediately after Dominic Cruz said it, he lands the left hand off the kick. Gets him up against the fence. Awesome back take from Terrance McKinney. And then just backpacks him for the whole round pretty much. Fun times. It seems like the new meta, right? You just get body triangle and then we're good. Who put circle in the arrow?
I even added in circle and an arrow in here, bro. So we can explain what happened here. He flans him out. He goes for the RNC.
Second round, right? Second round.
Sadykhov
cracks him. Panic shot from Terrance McKinney. Sadykhov cheats, grabs the fence like 3 times to defend the takedown and then take his back. And then here we are.
So break this one down, Will.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, Terrance McKinney shoots on the takedown. He has the arms wrapped, but it's kind of a little bit of a scramble. Sadykhov reaches up, grabs the fence, anchors himself down, stops the takedown. No nonsense. Apparently, lots of nonsense. He comes in, and he's like, don't grab the fence. He's like, oh, okay. And he flattens his hand on the fence while he's still kind of defending the takedown. And then he's like, you see his fingers go. And grab the fence more. And then Keith Pearson walks over. He's like trying to pry his hand off. And it's like, hey, man, what are we doing here? And then by that point, he's already like taking the back. And Terrance McKinney turns to give up his back to try to stand up to get out of that position. But as he's doing that, Sadykhov is circling over to the back and completely just locks his arm behind his back. And it's like, I mean, if you're BJ Penn used to do it a lot, right? Where he would, when he's backpacking somebody, you don't see it nowadays, and you get wrist control, he'd pull that hand down and then trap it with his leg. And then now you have one arm to defend the choke. Sadykhov just kind of got that in the scramble, where it was tied behind his back and got the choke. And yeah, it was a pretty cool sequence. I just wish it didn't have the fence grab, you know?
Yeah. And so I want to make sure I put the little circle there in the arrow. Because when we're talking about it and you just kind of see the picture, you don't really notice it. But then when you really look in closer, you see Terrance McKinney's hand popping out from in between Sadykhov's ass, because it's just trapped there. It's stuck. And so even after he taps out, and Sadykhov rolls off. Terrance McKinney kind of rolls over with
His
like a
arm's
dead
still hanging
arm,
back
kind
there.
of.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
because
worried.
I'm sure it was twisted so bad. But yeah, it was
Shout out
it was rough.
Steve Mazzagatti back there. Look at him, paying attention. doing
Yeah,
his
good
job.
guy. HLB Comer saying McKinney is done. Look, I was
By the
just
way,
thinking the
remember
exact
that
same thing.
after the
Go
steamroller
ahead.
KO, this bimbo hurt his own leg jumping down from the cage. This dude is super stupid.
So check it out. He comes in, steams through Matt Frivola, steamroller
Yeah.
Frivola, you know.
Steamrolls him.
He does. And then he beats Fares Ziam. And then he loses to Drew Dober, which, hey,
No slouch.
nothing.
And he almost beat him. He almost finished him.
He did. That was a good fight.
Yeah.
He beats our boy, Ghost Pepper Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And then he loses again to Ismail Bonfim. Now loses to Sadykhov. I think that star that was rising after he came in with all those finishes, he's now been finished 3 out of his last 4 fights.
Yeah, that's I mean, he's kill or be killed, you know. He's a glass cannon. And he's going to be exciting while he's here, but I don't think people were very
here
high
for
on
a
him.
good time.
Yeah,
not a long time.
HLB Comer says it was super nasty. Anybody remember that? He killed his own knee celebrating. Yeah, it was bad.
Rough. All right.
Austin says fence grabs need to be an instant point deduction. No warnings. Honestly, no excuses at this point in the sport, in my opinion. This was a perfect example of a fence grab directly altering the result. They already know the rules. They know they're not supposed to grab it. We don't need warnings in fights anymore. We don't need warnings at all for anything, in my opinion. Just don't do it. Accidents happen, obviously, like groin strikes happen sometimes. Eye pokes happen sometimes. But at this point, people will be a lot more careful if they just take a point, you know?
Yeah. And to Austin's point, man, he went through and tried to pry his fingers off the fence. But at this point, dude, look at the position that he's got on him. Reset. Pull him up and be like, dude, fence grab, point, reset.
If you have to pry the fingers off, it's too much already. That's too much. And it's like, okay, if you either
instead he was all let go of the fence, you know, and he starts trying to pry the fingers, and it's like, dude, too late.
He's like, hold on, man, I'm taking it back.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
position here, dude. You're interrupting. All right, let's move on here.
Let's move on. We'll be quick with this one, and graphic content warning.
Yes, warning. If you get queasy, you know, just listen and maybe turn away. But we had Viktoriya Dudakova versus Istela Nunes.
Okay, Dudakova, top tier last name. That's an awesome last name.
Dudakova, for sure. And I like the way she spells Viktoriya too.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Istela Nunes, man, it's a tough go in this one. It's been a tough go for her. When she joined the UFC, she was 4-1. What is she now? No, she was 6-1. She is now 6-5 since joining the UFC.
Well,
4 straight losses.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Cut after this, released.
I don't. Maybe one more because it's tough to cut someone after this. You know.
No, BS,
but basically, what happens?
They're
feeling each other out.
They need a cutter.
Okay.
If they cut my girl,
okay,
you know, and they're not going to cut her, I need to talk to somebody and see what happened.
Yeah. So I don't know who your girl is, but Dudakova versus
Jessica,
Nunes.
Dude.
Jessica who? Which one?
What's her last name? The one with the tattoos.
Yes, your girl. You don't even know her last name.
Super
cutie. Oh, Evil Eye. Yeah. So the fight happens. They're kind of feeling each other out. Dudakova shoots for like a takedown, ends up on the ankle, and just rolls it, right? Nunes sits down, posts with her hand, and immediately when she posts, her forearm shoots past her elbow and is immediately screaming. And it was one of the tougher things to watch in a while. Reminded me of Anderson Silva when he broke his leg and you could hear him screaming. Rich with the graphic image incoming. Here's her arm out of the socket. If anybody wants to see that, Rich wants to go to the next picture.
So here that's her arm. Dudakova.
This is a gasp.
Dudakova going through, and I love the way she goes for that ankle pick, and it's almost like that alligator roll, right? Yeah. And then you see the way that the arrow goes down and left, very similar to Nunes' arm, and it's not supposed to do that. A shout out, Blunderbuff says, I like the way she spells it, bro. That's just Russian Eastern European. Yeah, okay. Still like the way it's spelled. Okay, whether it's
still like
Eastern European or not, I still like the way it's spelled. And yes, Andrew Toasty, it's Jessica Rose Clark that I'm talking about. Absolutely. If she was released, they got to release Nunes as well. But then when she goes,
I said Evil Eye like it was Jessica Eye.
No, not Jessica Evil Eye. That's not my girl, dude. What are you talking about? But Colleen says, I'm still reeling from that. Dude, it was pretty bad, right? The angle at which she tries to post with all that pressure going over while she's rolling to her left side was pretty bad. And so in the next picture here, you will see a little bit of that elbow popping out to the side.
Yeah, not bad. And she was screaming, man, and it was just loud. And it's at the apex, so there's no crowd to drown out the sound. It's bad. And Omar comes in saying, bro, y'all even had a diagram for the snap. Oh, my God. Also, let's see.
Hey,
Rich,
also,
I just sent you.
I know we started the podcast a little late today. And that's because your boy here was putting arrows and diagrams on pictures instead.
Yeah, so there's the X-ray. So from when I watched it, I was like, I don't think that's really like a bad break. It reminded me more of Jamal Hill when his elbow got dislocated. Because a broken arm, it's not going to stick out backwards like that. So yeah, it's not good though. Can't be fun, but it's not going to be like career altering or anything like that. Maybe psychologically, but that's why you slap the mat, huh?
I mean, after the UFC releases here in a couple of days, I don't think she'll have to worry about getting back in there anytime soon. So we'll see. But yes, I like how I like how the camera pans away when she's screaming in pain, but you still hear her screaming. And so they pan over to this other angle. I was just like, and
then they show the replay, and it's happening. And once it happens, DC's like, "Could you see it, Dom? Could you see it happen? Could you see it?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can see it." And DC's like, "I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch the replay."
Rough, man, rough. Blunderbub, you see the right angle? I'm glad you like the analysis, Blunderbub.
It's going the wrong way. Austin says, I've seen like 3 leg breaks since becoming an MMA fan. Chris Weidman was horrific, but this made me physically sick the way she was screaming too. Yeah, the screaming it's another level, right? When you hear the screaming. And that again, that's why it reminded me of Anderson Silva when Anderson Silva broke his leg over
that for me was the nastiest.
Chris Weidman's. That one you could hear him screaming. And for me, when did that happen? It was like 2013 or something like that. So I was in high school when that happened. And watching that happen to Anderson Silva live, I was like, if he's screaming, it's awful because the guy's a superhero, But yeah, these things happen in MMA,
Spider. Yeah, HOB Comer saying, I like the ref telling her it's fine, girl. And she's screaming like the devil is taking her soul. Dude, that was Tayoni also, if I remember correctly. And look, I'll give this to Chris Tayoni as a father myself, right? He puts his left hand under her head, cradles her with the other arm, and looks at her and tries to comfort her. And I was like, look, Tayoni, I'll give you some respect for that. Trying to comfort her when she's at her worst. Fatherly instincts kicking in for Chris Tayoni. Props to you. Father Tayoni. That's what I'm going to call him going forward.
Yeah.
Papa Tayoni? I don't know.
Yeah. And we can move on. The next one is Evan Elder versus Valdez. We can be quick on this one because we're running out of time here. HB Comer says, shouldn't there be doctors? Yeah, I think it was just an immediate reaction. They hadn't gotten in yet.
So it's saying better father than ref. Maybe.
Maybe. I would hope so.
Papa Tayoni. Yeah, I would hope so too.
if he's worse as a father than he is as a ref, we got some issues.
Oh man.
But yeah, so Evan Elder versus Valdez. This was a fucking banger. Evan Elder. And Valdez, I'll give him credit, dude. He cracks. That dude hits hard as hell. But Evan Elder, I think, was just a little bit more well-rounded, right? Like the way he was mixing in his shots compared to Valdez. Valdez was more just like trying to land some big punches. Meanwhile, Evan Elder was, low kicks, high kicks, straight punches, looping punches, like just working all the way up and down the body. You could tell he's like a little bit more complete in that way. But man,
Yeah.
Valdez is tough as nails.
Did you notice the pattern that Elder picked up on Valdez? Because he did this multiple times. We'd go 1, 2, 3, big jump back.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew that Valdez, when he was under fire, would try to throw a 1-2, like a wild 1-2 with his head down. So big jump back, he'd let him throw the 1-2 and he'd miss, and he'd come back and go pop pop. And he did it over and over and over again. And I thought the timing was beautiful. I think it was McGregor that said timing beats speed, right? And I think that was just one of those things. Yeah. Elder pick up on that pattern, man. Well, I don't know if it was just something that he picked up in the middle of the fight, but dude, it was probably 4 or 5 times that I can remember where he did the exact same thing. Pop, 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 big jump back, miss, and then comes back in, pop, pop, and then he'd reset. Yeah, it was beautiful, man. Such a good performance from Elder.
Yeah, and props to Valdez because he was laying that low kick. Did you see Evan Elder's shin by the end of the fight?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! It looked like he was wearing shin pads. Like it was insane.
Savage.
But yeah, and I can't believe they didn't give the boy that interview. Come on, what are we doing here?
Oh yeah, and they're like, "Hey, but we're a little pressed on time, dude.
It's
we're
like,
talking
maybe stop
2
showing
minutes.
Fucking commercials, huh? How about that? How about focus on the actual product than your goddamn commercials?
No, but that's why they were pressed on time, because they're like, we still have 5 commercials to show before the next fight.
Yeah,
we can't afford to give him a. It was his first UFC win too.
Yeah, how could we anticipate a fight lasting 15 minutes? How do we schedule that?
What and they're like, doing, hey, we need to show that Navy commercial for the 20th time. Okay, the US.
We need
Navy
that
commercial.
ESPN Plus commercial trying to make tennis exciting, and it's like I watched that 20 fucking times last night. Makes me want to blow my brains out.
Yeah, same. All right. I think that was it. HOB Comer said it was a pretty good card considering what the main event was. You know what? It was fun. They had some fun fights in there.
There was 4 good fights on the card. So yeah, 4 out of 13 is not bad.
Good. Not too bad. In baseball, that's actually not too shabby.
4 out of 12 in baseball is pretty damn good.
You know,
what is that? 1 for 3? That 300?
Yeah, I guess that's not bad. All right.
Blunderbuff says, sorry, no interview. We have to show the gym Vikings snorting protein 40 times.
Austin Judd McCarthy. By the way, also good name. Austin Judd McCarthy.
And thanks for the segue, the setup for the segue.
Yeah, he says this is going to be controversial. Not too controversial, man, because you say one pacing is infinitely better than UFC, and I'd have to agree.
I mean, it's not even an argument, right? Whoa, look at the transition. Look at that.
All right. So now it's time. We're going to cover One Fight Night 12 coming through. Dude, what a fun event. And I know for the longest time, Will, your boy here refused to watch One Fight. We talk about this on a regular basis, but I'm giving in, man.
How can you not, man?
I know. If you like good fights, you like one. You have to like one.
Yeah, HB Comer says, I wonder if Will is a one fan.
I know, right?
Look at it. What's up?
But we had
fucking Rich is on it today, bro.
He is, dude. He is. I don't know what he ate this morning, but I like it. All right, we had Superlek versus Khalilov.
Dude, okay. So going into this, Superlek's gonna win this fight. He's just so good, But Khalilov is legit. I really like the guy. He puts on fun fights. We saw him get a KO over in the Philippines. Dude, Superlek did not care. Did not care. What is it? HB Comer says one more logo and you become a NASCAR racer.
Oh, are you switching the hat? He is. He's gonna go one. Oh my god. Look at this guy.
Fuck it, dude.
Go all out. Why not?
Let's go fucking all out, huh?
He's got the one lanyard too. What else are you throwing on over there? Do you have one sunglasses or something?
Let's get the fucking wristband
on. The one wristband? Oh my god.
You imagine?
This guy. Hey, leave it on, dude. It's already on.
Leave it on? Fuck it.
Yeah, just leave it on. But hey, Superlek. I continue being impressed. I know that everybody that's watched one or Muay Thai or kickboxing for a long time
Yeah.
they already know about Superlek. For somebody like me, this is probably my 4th or 5th time watching him fight, and every single time I'm more impressed with this guy. I understand the legend of Superlek, and for me, those deadly elbows and the different angles that he has on the elbows, the giant step in with the elbow. He'll come in 12-6, he'll go 6-12,
Dude,
and then
he must have made the read, huh?
you
That's
think?
yeah. Like coming into this fight.
What did it though? Where I was just like, this guy is next level. He like jumps and fakes the left kick to the body.
Yeah.
Very next one, fakes the right kick to the leg, and then he follows it up with it like a flying elbow. And I was like, this guy's superhuman.
Dude, if Superlek was in the UFC, he'd be a superstar in the United States. People don't fight like this in the UFC. Like, I mean, just the entire fight, he's just sprinting at Khalilov. Khalilov just cannot get set. He's trying to throw stuff back to get the respect. And Superlek's literally, like you said, just leaping at him, throwing fucking hatchets at him with his elbows. I mean, it was incredible. And yeah, Rich, we have a video. So if Rich wants to play it, because one also lets us play video on our podcast.
Hey, shout out one.
Yeah, so here we go. This is from the fight. I think this is the knockdown and the finish.
There is the head kick.
Dude, I got pretty loud.
And the crowd is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, God, look at that elbow in the clinch.
And coming out of the clinch, look, leading with the elbow.
Yeah, and that's the big one.
Good stop.
There were some people who were like, it's a little bit too much of an early stoppage, but in my opinion, it seemed like Khalilov was like that last elbow. He kind of just like turned a little bit, and like we can't have that. That's it.
Yeah. You see it again. Yeah, he just kind of just shells up, puts the knee up, like just saying, just please don't hurt me right now. Backing up. At least he didn't turn it around though. I'll give him that.
Yeah, exactly. In the UFC main card, we had someone literally run across the cage away from somebody.
I mean, look at that. That's a really good way to break the high guard.
Well, yeah,
just step in straight up the middle with that elbow.
Yeah, I mean, he just chopped him up with the elbows. It was incredible. It was just such a good performance. And let's not forget, he just fought like 2 weeks ago.
God, it's crazy.
Right?
But when you
finished Nabil.
When you have fights like this and you don't take that much damage, every 2 weeks put me on. Every 2 weeks give me a $50K bonus. I don't mind.
To fight Haggerty now? Come on.
Oh my God, what a fight!
Come on, Haggerty versus Superlek.
Jonathan Haggerty.
Let's
do
go.
It. Sign me up. Take my money, or not? Because it's on Prime.
It's already paid for.
Prime, so yeah, I love it. All right. What's the next one we're going to cover? I believe it was Tonon versus Gasanov.
Gary Tonon versus Gasanov. Dude. And what a good matchup. The matchmaking on this fight is incredible because Gasanov, at this point, undefeated, right? 13-0. Very good grappling. And Gary Tonon, obviously, it speaks from, like, if you don't know who Gary Tonon is, like, if you do know who he is, you know he's like a wizard on the ground. So going into this, I was like, man, we're going to see some very fun ground fighting. And sometimes you see like these wrestlers almost nullify jiu-jitsu people, like players off their back, right? And I was like, is he going to be able to stifle Gary Tonon on the ground? Because like if he can, that's like insanely impressive. And he almost did. It looked like he was going to. Because immediately Gary Tonon throws some punches to set up a takedown. Gasanov's like, nope, gets him on like a front headlock position, right? Almost like a sprawl position. And immediately, because it's one, he starts blasting him in the face with knees.
Which I love.
Yeah. I mean, how could you?
It creates urgency.
And that's exactly what happened. Like, so Tonon ends up having to try to like roll to his hip to try to like pull guard almost to do something. And Gasanov's just blasting him with knees to the face, to the forehead. And Blunderpuff says Tonon had to buy the win with several nasty knees. Yeah. So what was very impressive to me was he's getting lit up with these knees in that front headlock position, which actually, Rich, we do have a clip for that also. It should be the first Tonon clip. So look at these knees. Tell me you don't want this in fighting.
Oh, big knee right there as soon as he goes down.
Yeah.
Another knee.
And Tonon's trying. He's trying to get away, right?
Yep.
And like he just can't. Here comes another one. Bam.
Oh, massive knee. I think that's the one that everybody heard. When he just slapped his forehead.
I mean, look at him swinging his leg back to throw that knee.
Then he's missing in the right knee and the left knee, so it makes it hard for Tonon to know which arm to use. And the thing again, because in this position in the UFC, these fighters get out of this rather quickly. They get back up, right? In this case, because you're throwing the left knee, the right knee, now Tonon is worried about like, okay, do I just shield with my left or do I try to like block with my right because I don't know exactly when he's coming. So that's another reason why he's in that position a little bit longer than we're used to seeing, because he's trying to figure out how do I avoid these massive knees coming straight to my head, right? So it's good stuff, man.
And I thought like, okay, this might be it, right? Because you can't just keep eating those. And eventually Garry did this. It was so smooth where he kind of got to the ropes and he almost sat like he was going to pull guard from that position. But then instead hit the switch. He had that far side underhook with his left hand, and it allowed him to spin and then end up taking Gasanov's back. And I was like, how do you go from just getting blasted with knees to taking his back? It's just so beautiful to watch. And then he kind of just controlled him for the rest of that round.
And talk about the momentum changing, because for me, that was it. Right in there, we hit that little switch. He rolls back, takes his back, and it just happened like that, where you're Gasanov, you have him in that front headlock position. You're landing these massive knees, and you feel like I'm in control of this fight. I might
finish this right now.
I'm in control of this fight. And then all of a sudden you're like, shit, he just took my back.
Garry Tonon has my back right now.
Yeah.
And Gasanov did a good job, right, where he stood up and he went over to the turnbuckle and just used the turnbuckle in the corner to just kind of scrape Tonon off. But he pretty much finished the round safely and not eating all those knees. And then they got to the second round. And Tonon immediately starts flying at him with kicks, lands a big straight right, and then immediately shoots on him. They go down, they get back up, and then Gasanov has him in the corner, I think, over under, and Tonon just dives on the leg. And Tonon, we've seen him get finished from going for leg locks. Ton Lee knocked him out, right, when he fought for the belt. But he rolls into it. And Gasanov just kind of doesn't care. And he's like, he's not on it. I'm good here. And
to the point where the ref calls catch, right? Yeah, because he's signaling to the judges like, hey, he has a submission locked in, a submission attempt locked in. And Gasanov looks and he goes, I'm okay, brother. I'm okay.
Yeah. And then Rich Franklin says, yeah, but he's not in danger because he's off center on the leg. And immediately after that, you hear Gasanov screaming in pain. And my blender bub. My favorite part of this match was Rich Franklin convincing everyone Garry didn't have the knee bar right before he taps.
He even convinced Gasanov.
Yeah,
Gasanov probably heard him.
Yeah, and Rich, actually, we have another video of that moment with audio. The audio is great for this one.
Did he say I'm very good?
Yeah. And then screaming. Oh my god, dude. Can you play that again real quick, Rich? Yeah, Solomon calls catch. It's okay, brother. I'm good.
I'm very good.
And then, oh my god, dude.
Just seconds later.
Yeah. Brutal.
Okay,
Rich. Just come on.
Oh my god!
Fantastic win by Garry Tonon. That's Gasanov's first loss. That was very impressive, and he had to go through adversity to get there, man. He ate some massive knees in that first round. Austin
and
says,
I think that's just good, right? We've seen so many cases. If you're ever gonna go all in on a leg lock, it's when you're in that position. Okay,
exactly, because you can't get smashed.
Your opponent can't really reach over. You can't get smashed. They're the ones that are just trying to figure out how do I get out of this, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, we've seen plenty of times where your opponent's standing, you're curled under, trying to hook the leg lock, and you just have bombs raining down on you.
Yeah, Macy Barber just did it, right?
Yeah, such a good job by Tonon last night.
Yeah. And Austin says the grounded knees are easily the best rule difference in one. The way they judge their fights is better too, though, and honestly should be the standard. I agree. Let's see. My mom says things can change on a dime. Austin says also, this is the dumbest gamble ever. It's like standing in front of prime Mike Tyson while he throws bombs, just chilling. Yeah. So you can't go. You got to be somewhere in the middle, right? Because if you freak out when they're on a leg, you're going to make a mistake and they'll capitalize on it. If you sit there and you're calm, they're going to continue to work until they get it. you have to find some middle ground to escape, because you can't just sit there and be like, I'm good right now, because it's Garry Tonon. John Danaher is in his corner for this fight.
Yep.
Like, he will inch his way until he has the submission if you let him. So, like,
and you know what? It's so sweet too when you think about it, because he took the revenge out on those knees that were landing right on his forehead.
Takes
man.
his knee. Yeah.
How the turns have tabled, he said, and he just grabbed that knee
Have time. Yeah.
and just made him scream off those exact same knees that he was landing. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. HLB Comer's asking what's up with his hair. Yeah, he's got alopecia. You can see it even in his beard now. It looks like my beard. HLB Comer says this is also 50 Shades of MMA episode. Yeah, seriously. There's some pain involved in this episode.
Oh man. All right.
But yeah, very good win for Garry Tonon.
Very good win. Do you want to move on to the next one? I think the next one's going to be pretty quick.
Next one will be quick. Ali Akbari versus Jointon.
So, dude, so you see the weigh-in picture, and at this point, you know, okay, Ali Akbari is just gonna go and run right to him, because he gives him that little pat on the shoulder, like, it's gonna be okay, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, it'll all be over soon.
I'll make this quick. Don't worry.
Yeah, and Jointon, by the way, misspelling his own last name, it's Johnson, bro. Okay, so we knew you were gonna lose right away. Nobody spells it Jointon. So
nobody spells it.
You're gonna lose. All right.
Yeah, Ali Akbari going into this, I was like, man, there's literally Dustin's got no chance. He's got no chance here. Ali Akbari is a fantastic wrestler who cracks, and we actually watched this one together, right? Where, I mean, he's just swinging hard, and yeah, Toasted says his manicure was longer than the fight. Yeah, as they're checking him, one does their due diligence. He got Olivier Coste over there clipping his fingernails before the fight starts.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, they go in there, and immediately Ali Akbari is just walking him down and just throwing massive punches. We were watching it together. We were just like, oh God, oh Jesus! Every time he threw a punch.
Look at how scary Ali Akbari looks, aka Zangief from Street Fighter.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Look at him just throwing those bombs, and every time that any one of those bombs landed, Joinson would react so much, man,
and
to the point
cover
where
up right after.
He'd like glitch a little bit, like almost surprised that it was like, oh, that hurt more than I thought it would. And, and then he tried to reset it, and Ali Akbari would just throw another bomb and be like, oh my God, every single time.
Yeah. And then Ali Akbari takes him down, right? And gets him in that crucifix position. And at that point, it was like, dude, crucifix is already really hard to get out of. And this guy's like a top level wrestler. You're not going to get him off of you. And then he just starts pounding him out and eventually gets him to tap due to strikes. And we have a video of this as well, Rich, if you're...
Again, shout out One for allowing us to do this. I love it.
Yeah.
Just shot after shot. Look at that. Oh, and the tapping. Yeah. You have to. What are you going to do there? Yeah. And, you know, so when I see this, it reminds me of Roy Nelson versus Kimbo Slice. Do you remember where you got him in that crucifix?
Oh, yeah.
The only difference is that Roy Nelson was tapping Kimbo Slice's forehead and telling the ref, look, he's not trying to get out of it, and I'm just landing shot after shot. Stop it. The difference is Ali Akbari was trying to smash his freaking face through the canvas.
Yeah, it was big shots.
It was big shots. And
got to get that 50K, you know?
50K, baby. There you go.
You got it.
Earned it.
Yeah. Austin says, this is honestly the best Ali Akbari's looked for me. If he'd wrestled like this in the first Malikan fight, he may have had a chance. I honestly, I don't know, man, because Malikan, people forget Malikan's a wrestler first as well. Like, his takedown defense is next level. But I do really want to see the rematch. They fought before, and Malikan knocked him out. But, and this is rare for one, they had Malikan there because Malikan's cornering like 3 different guys on this card. Ali Akbari calls him out. They bring him over. They get into a scuffle. And we got to play it because Mitch Chilson is amazing in this video when they get into the scuffle. This video is so funny, especially Mitch at the end.
All right.
He's like, he's just stuck in between them, dude. And listen.
Hey.
Listen. Hold on, listen to him.
It's okay. Your time will come. I'm sure that's a match that will be made in the
near future. It's okay. Your time will come.
Hey, so props for him, dude. He threw himself right in the fire.
Yeah, he did. Look how happy he is, dude.
I hope Chachi was like, hey, Mitch, here's 50K, bro.
Here's 50K for you.
That earned a bonus.
Yeah.
That earned a bonus. That was so good. It really was.
Yeah, that was great, dude. I love Malikin, dude. Amir Alibari also is awesome. I don't know. Malikin's saying that he wants to go down and fight RDR for his belt now at middleweight. That's cool and all. It would be really cool to see him have 3 belts, but give me Ali Akbari versus Malikin. Give me the rematch. Was that nervous laughter? Oh, man.
It might have been. Dude,
it might have been, dude.
Those
guys are 2 big
are
boys.
Huge.
Yeah.
Especially when Mitch gets in the middle, you realize just how big they are.
Yeah.
Dude, awesome, though. It was good stuff. It was probably the most exciting part of that fight.
Yeah. Blunderbuff said someone in the chat said give the Iranian translator a bonus too. Yeah, he was great. One always has really good translators too.
Hey, shout out DL. Shout out DL. Thanks for joining us again. Yeah. All right. We have a few more fights. I think 2 more fights to cover, right?
Yeah. So Yuya Wakamatsu versus Xie Wie. Dude, and this one they got right after it. As soon as the fight started.
Right away.
Yeah.
Right away. Both of them super aggressive, man. Now, elbows. We're talking about elbows earlier. Like we had Alec Barry that was just landing those bombs, right? Those punches.
Mm-hmm.
We had another situation here where it's a tough position for Wei, right? Yeah. You have Wakamatsu just landing elbow after. Did you count them?
No, but I mean, how can you? DL says 2 pit bulls. Wow. Dude, so Weah has him in on the ropes, right? He throws a high knee, and Wakamatsu just grabs it, and he's like, we're going down now. Puts him into side control, and then just immediately just starts uncorking these elbows on him and just doesn't stop. And Weah tries to get up, and as he's trying to lean up, he's like, oh, also, check this out. Bam! Eats him with a knee. Hit him like 3 knees, and then goes back to the elbows. And just, didn't give him a chance. Eventually ends up in full mount and starts throwing just like standard ground and pound, right? But how many strikes did he land within like those 30 seconds? It was incredible.
It had to have been probably 30 elbows. Yeah. Because it was nonstop. And the thing is, the ref doesn't stop it right away because Wei is still kind of trying to gain better position. Yeah, he's trying to work out of it. So the entire time he's working, though, it's elbow, punch, elbow, just over and over again. And finally, the ref's like, all right, I think he has enough. He's had enough.
Yeah. Austin says, I love Wei's Shaolin background. I was rooting for him, but knew he likely or wasn't likely going to win this. Ground guys have been his weakness. Yeah. Blunderbub says this was the match where that guy in the chat was screaming about Pride and Ryzen 2. Yeah, that dude is interesting, man. But yeah, we have a video of this. Rich, if we don't play, let's skip this one, and we'll go to because they were in the corner when it happened. There was a video that they posted from the corner, and this is insane.
Okay. So this is when Wakamatsu takes him down?
Yeah, catches the knee, takes him down immediately. Just massive elbows.
And then right here. Okay, maybe could have been stopped there.
Could have stopped it there, probably, right? These are pretty bad. And then
right here, okay, fighting for position, trying to get better
knees
position.
There, couple knees.
Oh,
more elbows. Wei's working, right? Gets posted.
Yep.
But not enough. Punch. Now he's in mount, and he just starts punching. God.
Yeah, the ref gave him every opportunity in the world, man.
Every opportunity in the world.
Maybe too many opportunities, but
Toasty says 37 elbows.
37, at least, yeah.
And unfortunately, Wakamatsu missed weight for this one, so
he did not get a bonus.
Yeah, I just counted. What's crazy is, and I do like this, is because one gives so many bonuses, right? It's constant. Basically, any good fight, you're going to get a bonus. You're going to get 50 grand. Mm-hmm. And they tell him while they're in the ring still in the post-fight interview. And in this one, he missed weight. And they tell him, just so you know, you would have won a bonus here, but you missed weight, so we can't. And it's like, dude, if that's not an incentive to make weight your next fight, that's to just do it right then and there and be like, hey, you just lost 50 grand because you missed weight. Like that's an incentive right there. And you can tell he just wanted out, man. They're trying to interview him, and he's just like, "Can I just go, dude?" Like, that sucks. But it is what it is. Make weight,
All right.
We got the
fight.
last one here. Yeah.
Last fight. And I believe we are covering Fernandez versus Pichija.
Pichija. Yeah. Oh,
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Man. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And that's this is what
How do you pronounce
remember I told you this
Lukjaporongtong. Lukjaporongtong.
Nailed it.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
All right. Nailed it.
Let's go with that. Lara, I watched Lara's last fight live over in the Philippines. She got a decision win. But dude, Pichija is Toshi says we're not covering the 12-6 dick punch. We're already an hour and 5 minutes in. We can't. But yeah, if you go back and watch the Walter fight, who was he fighting? Why can't I find it? Because I'm looking at the wrong fucking
Banma Gyoji
thing. Yeah, dude, Banma. They're in. He's got him stacked in guard and just fucking as Walter's trying to throw these up kicks, he just bam. Like punched my mic just like he punched him right in the dick. Dude, it was brutal. And Herb Dean's like, oh, hold on. And he thought he stopped the fight and he runs over, he's celebrating on the ropes. And dude, Goncalves is just on the ground holding his nuts. And they're like, I did not call the fight off. Like that was just a straight dick punch. It was bad.
That's like UFC 1 type stuff, you know what I mean? Just go straight for the dick punch.
Son. Shout out Joe
yeah,
Son.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, Pichija, dude, she started fighting again when she was like 10 years old or something like that. Her dad started a gym because no other gyms would take her, right? So they started their own gym. She has to start by just fighting dudes. She's only fighting boys. I forgot what her original nickname is, but it was something like the lady who fights men or something like that. It was sick. And now she's just the queen. But I think within her first 70 fights, her first 100 wins, like 70 of those wins were against men. I'm pretty sure. She's just a savage, dude. So this is her first fight on a prime card.
Look at the angle on this picture too.
I know. Yeah, it's so good. Shout out Cyrus for hooking it up with the media. But
hey, Cyrus.
But dude, going into this, I was like, Fernandez is very good, but it's another level type thing where and immediately you see it. Pichija hits her, and you could see Lara's like, oh, I don't think I've ever been hit like that. And immediately backs up into the corner. She hits her again, and she's wobbled, and you can see her wobble her way back to the corner, and Pichija just bam, 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 and she's snapping her head back with a couple of these punches, and eventually Lara just kind of turns away, and Olivia Costa's like, dude, cannot have that, and calls the fight. But what was it, like 40 seconds, something like that?
26 seconds, if I remember correctly.
26 seconds, man.
It should actually tell us right over here. Somewhere.
Oh, Tapology has that, huh?
Yeah, 26 seconds. Round 1 of 3. So you have Fernandez that's complaining afterwards. And look, I'm going to be honest. Fernandez didn't look too out of it when she was complaining to Olivier Coste. But you also did not respond to any of the shots being thrown your way, which in my end shows that you don't have an answer. You don't want to be there.
And turning away into the corner is not fighting back, right? That's not defending yourself. So yeah, it was quick, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to. She wasn't out.
Was that the fastest women's KO in one?
Shout out Blunderbub. I did not realize that.
Fantastic. Dude, one knowledge.
Women's atomweight Muay Thai, man. Come on.
Good.
Give me more of that. But yeah, we have a clip of this of the finish here from Pichija. You can see her cracker here. I think it was a right hand. Yeah, right there.
Yep, there's a right. A little wobbly. Go straight back. Arms up in the air.
Bam.
And then she just starts raining
just
shots.
Teeing off on her. And then as soon as she turns away like that, she's leaning outside the ropes. You got to call it.
Yeah.
Do we have another one that was like similar to the Yuya fight where it was like a corner or like a crowd video or like ringside video, I think, Rich? Yeah.
There it is.
How sick is this video, huh?
Oh, good angle. Good angle. Yeah, as soon as she landed that first right, and you saw her her legs shake a little bit.
Yeah, it was like,
and her arms go up, like not in full guard, but they kind of go up to the side, and she like goes back, like saying like, "Hey, take it easy, huh?"
Yeah.
And
hey, man, we're just getting started.
Calm down. Yeah, what a finish by Pichija.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see more from her, dude. It's like, yeah, just keep her coming, because she's so good. Like, really, really good. But I think that's all we're going to cover, huh?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Austin says one's
Doesn't hurt.
atomweight MMA division slaps two. Angela Lee's my favorite fighter ever. Hope that whole family can come back strong after the loss. Yeah, it sounds like Angela's going to retire.
Yeah, that's the last thing I heard
Unfortunately,
too.
but I mean, I don't blame her, But man, she's done so much in women's MMA. Like, but yeah, the atomweight division is really, really good for just combat sports in general. And everyone says like the UFC should open it, but like, who are they going to sign? They're already all signed, We already got those divisions. They're just not in the UFC. Thank God.
All right. Well, you know what I just noticed? We didn't do a moment of silence for UFC or bonuses, but it's okay. It's all right.
Does anyone care about that card?
Let's be real here. I don't know. Probably not.
Probably
not. But what do we have coming up next week?
Yeah, next week is
Aspinall versus Tybura. The
Aspinall
return.
versus Tybura.
We got
I think we got.
We can't downplay the ascension that Tom Aspinall was on before his ACL injury.
No, that's 100% true, man. We also have A1 Combat, huh? I think that's next weekend. Is
it Toasty? Shout out Toasty.
I think it's next weekend. Toasty in the chat. Let us know. We also have LFA 163. We got Landry Ward on the card.
Our guy Landry Ward, man. Friend of the podcast, LFA. Honestly, I think he's one or two fights away from getting the call to the UFC.
Without a doubt, dude.
Plus,
Toasty says yes, sir. A1 Combat.
It helps that you're in that camp as well in Killcliff for Landry.
Yeah, dude. Just kill
it. All the right people.
Kill Cliff. And Toasty's got his main event amateur fight at A1 Combat. They do the amateur. They do an amateur card and then they do their pro card. Toasty's got the main event of the amateurs. All right, I think it's for a belt, Toasty, if I'm not mistaken. Did I see that correctly? But that'll be free on YouTube.
Toasty, when you meet Uriah Faber, let me know if he's as cool as I've always thought he is. I've always been a huge Uriah Faber fan, man. California kid, come on, dude.
California kid, come on. But yeah, the UFC, we got Tom Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura. Co-main event.
Meatball Molly.
Yikes, that's a co-main. That's not what you like to see. Nathaniel Wood versus Andre Fili is really good. Muniz versus Paul Craig is going to be awesome as well. And Toasty says yes for the belt on A1 Combat. Let's go. Ooh, Lerone Murphy versus Kulibao is going to be a banger. That's a great fight. Davey Grant's on there. Jacasey versus Joel Alvarez could be good. If Jacasey isn't D1 Jacasey and he goes for a striking fight against Joel Alvarez, that's going to be very fun. Barbarena versus Muradov is going to be fun as well. Yeah, that's a fun card, man.
D1 Jacasey. So funny.
Yeah.
There's just different Jacaseys out there, Yeah, it should be a fun card, though. Looks like it's going to be a good time.
Early start time, huh? In the morning? Because it's in London, right?
Oh,
I imagine for us it's early.
In London, England.
Yeah.
All right. Andrew Toast is saying he was my first fighter I started watching. I think he's talking about Uriah Faber. Hey, dude, he's really got me excited about MMA. I had to watch some MMA before that, but dude, WEC Uriah Faber.
WEC never die.
Come on, dude. Come on. Hey, that's all I got though. Thank you everybody for joining us. What a fun episode, man.
This was a very fun episode. I had lots of people in the chat.
Blunderbub, Colleen, Austin Judd McCarthy, A+ name right there. DL, we had HLB,
Omar.
The return of HLB Comer, Omar. Does it get any funner than this, dude, on an episode?
I know. Blunderbub in here. Let's go.
Come on, man. All right. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Don't forget, tell your moms, tell your friends, tell everybody about Story of the Fight. We're trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. And where do they find us? Well, they don't know where to find us.
Yeah, it's at Story of the Fight on everything: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, Twitch, Threads. It's the new one.
Threads,
but yeah, if you go to storyofthefight.com.
Have you posted anything on Threads yet?
Oh, dude, I'm on there. I've been talking to Chatri on there a couple times, huh?
Dang.
Shout out Chatri.
My boy's got a direct line with Chatri.
Chatri replies on Threads.
Dang. Hey, well, don't tell everybody because now people are going to be talking. We still want them to only talk to us,
Okay.
We want that in. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. And just so everybody knows, in case you didn't already know, this podcast right here is produced by none other than Mr. Casual, Richard Bustos. There we go. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another week of Story of the Fight.